Davis, one of the Target players to watch. Brought to you by Target. Expect more, pay less. An official sponsor of the Grand Rapids Rollers. Second and 13 from the 1, 8:40 to go in the first quarter, and they hand it off to Zach Parker on the right-hand side. He is dropped to the end zone for a safety. Goma Kaleka comes up and makes the play, and it's 2-0. Would you look at that? What a start for Grand Rapids.
3 receivers, 2 to the left side. Garcia's out of the shotgun. And Garcia will drop the pass. And Garcia fires deep down the middle. Wide open! That's Studwell, and that's a touchdown, Queen City!
And it's together, and I think you're right, Colin. Second, picking him up. Sorry.
And Hawkins breaks a tackle, and Dion will go to the end zone. Ow. Touchdown Tulsa as Dion Hawkins takes a trap handoff up the middle.
Too much analysis, not enough excitement.
Follows the guard, pulled a 2-man miss with a spin, broke a tackle, and outran a lineman to the end zone.
Trying to get one more play in, and they do before the third quarter ends. Cochran, and oh my gosh, he makes that catch. He's running down the sideline. Not going to catch him, and Pop is the only one that can. He's not going to. Touchdown, Alaska. Robert Merrill with an absolute game changer of a catch.
Patterson, the one who made contact with him right there, but it was just a little too late.
And get a look at Mel Davis there, the linebacker, part of that core of linebackers for the Fleet. Tied for third most in the SFL in tackles, and I'm sure we'll see more from him today. But not this time, as Reggie Streeter has room on the bottom of the screen. He's going to get in the end zone. Touchdown, Rebs.
Wow, what a run by Streeter. Not touched until he crossed the goal line. Fantastic blocking by the offense. Fantastic blocking by the receivers. I got to throw that out there, too. And Streeter really takes advantage as he rumbles down the field for his 6th touchdown on the season.
Garcia back to pass. Garcia looks down the right side. Caught! 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Mora. Touchdown, Gorillas. Right over the top of the deep.
Bunch of receivers towards the bottom of the formation for LA on 2nd and 5. Richardson to throw again. He wants it all. End zone. Touchdown, LA. They strike first as far as hitting pay dirt. And this time it was a huge catch by LZ Pryor.
And LZ Pryor has been dubiously fast throughout this entire season. And we saw it right away as that play started to happen. The first person on that wide receiver trio that was breezing by was LZ Pryor. And I was thinking if someone was going to get that touchdown early on, it was going to be Pryor on that LA side. And lo and behold, that's a quick 6 for Los Angeles.
Their own 24-yard line. Steady diet of T-Roy Gaines, I think, is on the menu, and he's going to give us a nice shimmy and shake and have himself in the open field. And just like that, the Vultures are starting to fly over this game and circle themselves a win in the column as they get another touchdown on the board. It's 33-7 pending the extra point.
Just phenomenal patience and vision and strength on that play by T-Roy Gaines.
Third down and 11 at the 28. Peters back to pass. All day for Peters. Pressure breaks down. Fires a wide open receiver down the field. For a first down to the Dragon 48. What a find by Carter Peters. An outstanding throw. Peters running for his life. Could have called a hold there, maybe even. And what a big grab in the open field. First down, yet another big conversion for Carter Peters in the Sailor offense.
Really difficult position if you're San Francisco to be in. They are going to go for it. The crowd a little unsure of the decision. 4th and 8, this could be the ball game. Oklahoma would need one first down to end it. Hart out of the shotgun, back to throw. He's going to go left-hand side. The pass is caught. Touchdown on 4th down. San Francisco. More SFL drama. They take the lead.
Welcome to a frigid Minnesota for wildcard action here in the Simulation Football League. This is Ramos Lynn. Alongside me in the booth is Mr. Mark Lopez. And Mark, a couple teams, Minnesota and Alamo City. Minnesota last season made it to the playoffs. Fell in the first round, but had a very impressive season. This season has been just as, if not even more impressive. In their sophomore year, the Alamo City Artillery making the transition, the rebranding from the Lone Star Glory, and now they're in the playoffs as the Artillery in a crowded South Division. Not easy to do. How you been, and what are your keys for this matchup?
I'm doing great, Ramos. Doing great after the previous game, but we're focusing on this game and focusing on the key matchups. That's going to be a lot of things that Alamo City has in terms of weapons going up against Minnesota's incredible defense. We'll talk about Alamo City's weapons. You have Brad Jones, the running back, Ace Fennick, the quarterback, all great players in their own rights. Great performances statistically throughout the season, in connection or alongside their other players, Greg Soto, Deuce Fennick. We'll talk about them later. But you have Minnesota legend, whose offense is just picking up off where they left last season, carrying it over to this season and into this playoffs. Among the best in scoring defense, among the best in total touchdowns and yards allowed, and that will be the key matchup.
We are ready to kick this game off. The Alamo City Artillery will receive the football first, and we're gonna see a tenacious Minnesota legend defense to open up this game here at home. Glad everybody is joining us. And we are underway from Minnesota. From the 5, the return goes from the Artillery past the 20 to the 27-yard line, a decent return. And that's where Alamo City will start their drive with Ace Fennick in control of the offense, the one-time All-Star. Brad Jones and Thick and Juicy are the backs in the backfield. Hank Errol Troll, Siggy Roenick, Greg Soto, and Deuce Fennick are the wide receivers. The tight end is Garrison Blue, and the guard is Charles Michael, the rookie undrafted, 6'6", 310, the guard, who's been solid in the offensive line. They run right behind him, and the run goes for a gain of 8 yards. Minnesota crowding the line of scrimmage. Either way, Brad Jones gets about 8 yards, and Alamo City is a very complete team, to be honest. They can do everything pretty well. They have 4 wide receivers and a tight end. But I think the main part of this offense is going to be Brad Jones.
Absolutely, and even here he's lining up this season. He is the number 3 in terms of total yards. Ooh!
Brad Jones gets the handoff up the right side, and he gets crushed behind the line of scrimmage. A loss of 2 yards as the defense makes a stop on that one, Joni Bravo. Let's introduce you to the defense right after this play if Alamo City can get the chains moving. 12 personnel this time with an offset single backfield. This is going to be a free play. It doesn't matter what happens on the play. The Alamo City Artillery will have a first down. Axel Raven makes the tackle. And let's take a look at R62 for the first time today.
Neutral zone infraction, number 99.
Yeah, that'll definitely move the chains for Minnesota. This defense has been pretty good throughout the season, but if you want to go up and try to stop Brad Jones from picking up steam early on, they were doing well, actually, Ramos, before that penalty. We saw even during the penalty, they were able to tackle him again behind the line of scrimmage. So they got to keep that up and keep him away from getting those big bursts of speed and big chunk of yards.
Well, personnel again, actually the same formation, maybe the same play even. It is the same play, going to the stretch play. Good job by Brad Jones eluding those first 2 defenders. Only a gain of 2, though, with good pursuit by the defense. Let's introduce you to the rest of the defense. Angela Meerkat and Mark Mello are the defensive ends. Buster Johnson and Max Knight are the defensive tackles. BJ Loveless, Axel Raven, and Juan Mississippi are the linebackers. Cody Griffin, Joni Bravo, Rick Evans, Daniel Wright, Tigga Clay, and Derek Meerkat are the defensive backs, as this pass is going to be knocked away and incomplete. Good job by Joni Bravo, who's had a couple of big-time plays. 3rd down and long coming up.
Yeah, that's the thing with this passing defense by Minnesota. among the best in rushing yards allowed per game. They are amongst the best. In terms of takeaways, they have 27 in the season, 27 takeaways. Good for middle of the pack, 14th in the league, and they're going to be hunting for those interceptions.
4 wide receivers this time for Alamo City. First time we see this look. Fennec passes middle. The pass is caught and good for a first down. Good play. Goes the receiver. That's Hank L. Troll, 6'6", 228 as a slot receiver. Pretty big guy. As he moves the chains past Minnesota territory.
And their first third down attempt converts, or it's their second one. First one was converted with a penalty. This is their first one converted by themselves. They were good all season long.
Fennec passes the ball. It's caught on the outside to Deuce for a gain of about 9. Good job by Alamo City so far on moving the ball consistently. Not easy to do when you face a team as good as the Minnesota Legend. The Minnesota Legend on defense so far this season, 5th in points allowed per game. Yards allowed can best in all of football, 347 yards allowed. Their weak point, though, is the passing defense, 14. That's going to be another rush, and Brad Jones will get another first down with a spin move past the 35 into field goal range to the 30-yard line.
And we talked about the defensive matchup against Brad Jones. Those outside linebackers have got to make those tackles one-on-one against Brad Jones, but it's tough to do so when you have an athlete such as Jones making spin moves like that, getting a lot of extra yards after the first down was converted. And we talked about it. He will be the pivotal player. They're going to live and die by Brad Jones.
This pass over the middle is caught again to Soto for a gain of about 15 and another first down. Easy read for Ace Fennec right there as the linebacker came into the line of scrimmage in the A gap to blitz. That area was completely vacated and 2 receivers were wide open.
Yeah, he had a choice of 2 receivers. And a good pass by him, a good read overall. That was number 18, Greg Soto, one of the favorite players, actually his favorite player in terms of targets for the season. One of his favorites when trying to convert on third downs, and he converted for a first down on that play.
First down and 10 with the ball at the 16-yard line. Fennec to throw. The pass is caught for another gain of 7 yards as this drive has lasted now 3.5 minutes of the clock. Alamo City on offense, they rank 7th best in the league in rushing yards per game, 106. Yards per game overall, 403, one of only 6 teams in the Simulation Football League over 400 yards per game.
Wow.
And it's a really, really good offense, a really complete offense. We're going to see another stretch play, I think. Yes, we are, and that time is smothered by Mello behind the line of scrimmage. It's a 3rd down and 5.
Yeah, Mello just beat his man on the edge, gets to Brad Jones immediately, and they gotta keep doing that. I like how Ace Fennec has been utilizing, spreading the ball around, already 4 different receivers with targets. We know that he sometimes targets Brad Jones too. We'll see if that's an option in this formation as well.
Handoff to Jones on 3rd and 5, and that goes absolutely nowhere, actually losing 1 more yard on the play. So a weird ending as Juan Mississippi makes the tackle for loss, and Alamo City will have to settle for 3 as Matt Fennec will enter the field.
Great play by Mississippi as the 2 receivers on the edge had perfectly set blocks, but Mississippi disrupts the run and gets a tackle for a stop.
From about 33 yards away, 27 yards away, the field goal is going to be up and good, make it 28. Matt Fennec puts the first points on the board, 3-0. Alamo City over Minnesota to start this one. If you're new to the SFL, the Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time, but our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, visit our website at simulationfl.net. The SFL, it's football for everyone. Minnesota will get the ball from inside the end zone this time. Bringing it back is their returner. He doesn't even get to the 20-yard line as Adam Banks gets shut down. Let's introduce you to the Minnesota offense. Johnny Reno is the quarterback. Colin Hart and Chris Komazak are in the backfield. Buchanan Simons, Quack Mam, Jay Taylor, and Adam Banks are the wide receivers. Christian Bacigalupi and Jason France are the tight ends. 22 personnel this time with a heavy offset eye as the running back Colin Hart gets it to the outside for a gain of about 5. Good stop, good tackle in the open field by Alder Begin.
Yeah, we've always known Colin Hart to be one of the premier running backs of all time, spanning back to his previous teams playing for Sioux Falls. Colin Hart, this season, maybe not amongst the most elite in terms of carries and yards, but he is still lethal in terms of his utilization.
Shotgun formation. Look top of your screen for a quick out or something. No, inside instead. They go for a gain of about 11 yards and another, well, first down of the game actually for Minnesota. Moving the chains with Taylor that time. And, you know, for Minnesota, they have to be balanced in this game to your credit, or to your point, rather. 21st in the league in passing yards per game, 14th in rushing yards per game. So the offense, although not bad, hasn't been, you know, great this season. It's, you know, really capable. Toss play to Colin Hart this time, a great one at that. Great job by everybody on the right side. And a 9-yard pickup.
Yeah, great job. 2nd and 1. You know, plays like this, you have... you have Colin Hart making plays like this, making a first down position, and you see, even in this formation, keeping themselves open and what play they can do.
End up Colin Hart as he gets blown up in the backfield. Defense making a great stop on that one. Bogey Barr makes a tackle. Let's introduce you to the rest of the defense. Jukin Rukin and Yogi Barr are the defensive ends. Stephen Fellows and Tina Begin are the defensive tackles. Jay Mart, Bogey Barr, and Rob Foraker are the linebackers. Raul Garlaw, Mickey McGuire, Rain Rie, Jeff Spicoli, Jukin Rukin Jr., and Albert Begin are the DBs. This ball goes to Chris Komisak and he picks up a first down.
Yeah, Bogey Barr will be one of the key defensive players for Alamo City and against Minnesota Legend. The #1 tackler in the team with over 100 yards in the season, 114. That's a crazy amount of tackles for one season, and he's looking to stop the run, stop Colin Hart, possibly get to the backfield as well.
Another pass. They go with Chris Komisak one more time. A gain of 6. Make it 7 yards actually on the play. As Minnesota's also moving the ball really well. Alamo City has only had the ball once. Minnesota first drive of the game, and we are almost ending, quote-unquote, the first quarter. I mean, I know it's still 3 minutes left, but the way both teams are, you know, moving the ball down the field very meticulous. I mean, it's just not a lot of huge plays. Oh, that one is a huge play, but on the defense, blown up in the backfield for a 4-yard loss.
I think the word you're looking for is methodical. They have been very surgical, choosing their spots. The defense have been making plays, as you pointed out in this play. We also saw a lot of negative plays caused by Minnesota in the previous drive, where they got to Jones for a lot of tackles for losses. So overall, both defense and offense playing okay.
But you know, with the throw, the pass is caught, and a great route getting just past the first down marker goes Quake Mam. Minnesota moves the chains one more time. And again, you know, both teams doing exactly what they have to do to keep the chains moving.
Yep. I mean, Quake Mam, quite contributor for the team, could be the X factor. Only 15 receptions all season, but one good catch there.
That pass was intended for the tight end. McGuire makes the pass deflection. Both quarterbacks starting off pretty hot. Ace Vanek 4 of 5 for 40 yards on that first drive. Johnny Reno is now at 3 of 4. So only one incompletion each. It's been a very fast-paced first quarter of play. And now we have 3 wide receivers. Do they dare to throw the ball deep here? Look for the deep post right with a slot receiver. Actually, they go short, and the pass is almost picked off. Reading that one all the way were both of the DBs, especially Spicoli. And now it's a 3rd and 10.
Yeah, it might be in this play where they look for the deeper route that you were suggesting. We'll see how they line up, but 3rd and 10, without your Colin Hart at the backfield, this is going to be looking for a deep pass.
5 wide receivers. Reno hit as he throws, and the pass is picked off.
Wow.
Albert Begin gets that one past the 20, past the 30. He's still running to the 38-yard line. And that's how Minnesota's drive will come to a close, as Alamo City just absolutely shuts that down, created by the pressure from Tina Begin.
Absolutely classic by the book of a sack leading to an interception. Disrupt the passer, and you can disrupt the pass. And what a start by this Alamo City defense, holding the Minnesota to a first drive of an interception. And Minnesota, no slouches either in terms of protecting the ball. Number 5 in turnovers, and they start off the drive with the game with 8 turnovers.
Offset single back, we've seen that before. Another offsides, free play. Brad Jones only gets 1, but not gonna matter. Another 5 free yards for Minnesota, who do look discombobulated on defense, even though they were able to make a stop last time around inside the 10.
Yeah, you're right, 100%. Discombobulated is the right term. I mean, they're not doing themselves any services. Able to stop Brad Jones, early on in the middle of the field, but if you keep doing penalties like this, you're sort of bailing out a 2-yard run, turning it into a free 5 yards.
Another offset single back this time. This is 4-3 defense here by Minnesota, and they're going to get gagged from it. Another big gain for Brad Jones, who puts the ball in Minnesota territory. Biggest shout-outs of tonight have to go to Caleb and Zach in the stats truck. Thank you guys for your help, your support. And for us, Mark, it's our last game of this era of simulation football.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna be back. We're gonna be back next season and for seasons to come. When we go to the next chapter of our history. But this one does close a chapter for us. This pass by Fennec is gonna be knocked away and picked off.
How?
Intercepted. The ball just absolutely floated between the receiver and the hands of a couple of DBs, and Minnesota gets a massive stop on defense.
Some laws of physics might have been broken in this. How did the ball not touch the ground? Oh, it must have been just bouncing on the legs of the receiver of Hank Earl Troll. Ball bouncing between his legs, and Minnesota just able to pick it up before the ball hit the ground, and what a turn of events. Jeez.
Wow, Minnesota gets the ball back. 4-3 defense for Alamo City. Twins top of your screen as the running back gets the handoff off the left side. Good for a gain of 3 yards. We are reaching the end of the first quarter of play. Again, a very fast-paced first quarter of play. We've seen a couple of giveaways by both offenses. Johnny Reno now 25 yards. Does have that one interception, which drops his QBR to 21.5. Has also made some good decisions so far. Reno to throw. This pass is going to be knocked away and picked again by Albert Begin. That's not a good decision, as Albert Begin will return it to the 37-yard line, and this has turned into a pick fest.
Absolutely crazy. 3 back-to-back interceptions. Minnesota, the unfortunate receiver, or I guess thrower, of the 3rd interception. And, I mean, this is the second instance of a defensive play leading into another defensive turnover, as the pass deflection leads into the interception by Begin.
First down and 10. Ball at the 37-yard line with split backs in this formation. Handoff goes to Jones, and he gets put down quickly by Meerkat. just getting back to the line of scrimmage, if that, maybe a loss of half a yard. And that's how the first quarter will come to a close. So far, a very exciting game of football. Alamo City 3, Minnesota nothing. You're watching the Simulation Football League, presented by 8 PM Music, right here on YouTube. Alamo City trying to get to their second championship game in team history, at least during this iteration with this kind of group. I know it's a different branding, but it's the same franchise. Minnesota's second season in the Simulation Football League, as the running back Brad Jones gets put down one more time for no gain, loss of about a yard and a half, maybe even 2 full yards. 3rd and 12 coming up.
Yeah, the focus on Brad Jones is not surprising, as we've seen throughout the season. In all their games where he ran less than 100 yards, they went 1 for 5.
This pass by Fennec is almost picked off again. That is right with the pass deflection. Outside of field goal range, Alamo City will have to punt the football again. I was going to mention before the broadcast, before the game started rather, during the introduction I didn't, but, on over-under for 54.5 seemed too high to me. Considering how good Minnesota's defense is, and consider how capable Alamo City is of putting pressure on the quarterback and very strong safety play, 54.5 just seemed a little bit too much. This is going to be returned, actually, by Banks. No gain on that return, just running sideways. But, again, it's been a slow start. What do you think? Do you think that we are into a 10-7 kind of ball game?
I don't know. It has still been only 1 quarter of play, Ramos. I mean, just looking at the yards, both teams have been doing okay. And you can see right there, yard 76 by Alamo, 42 by Minnesota. But really, that's mainly because of the turnovers we've seen. They're barely getting any yards downfield before they turn the ball over.
This throw as a swing goes to Colin Hart, a gain of 9 on the play. Good choice, good decision making by the quarterback, Johnny Reno. Involving Colin Hart pretty heavily so far in this game. 5 rushing attempts so far in this one. It's been just a quarter, so he's been involved pretty heavily. I expect him to involve him one more time. Maybe even Chris Gomez has to get involved. Now it goes to Hart, who picks up a first down, 3 yards.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a heavy dose of Colin Hart. Minnesota, one of the teams who, having both a halfback and a fullback, as a signed player, heavily utilizing both players in their run game. Like Colin Hart, only 50 more carries than Komisak in the season.
Reno will go down. Speaking about good pass rush, Reno had absolutely nobody to throw the ball to, and he got pinched by both defensive linemen right there. Tina Begin is the one who got to him, well, actually simultaneously with Yukin Rukin, so half a sack for both.
Yeah, both players with over 4 sacks in the season. I mean, they're such great pass rushers. It's not showing up on the stat sheet much. I mean, we've seen games where they get to the quarterback, the amount of quarterback hits they provide. It's just not showing up as sacks on the stat sheet. But talking about it, pass rush, they got home right there.
Reno will throw the pass as a swing to the running back Colin Hart. Gets it to the 25, a gain of 5, so he gets back those yards. Again, Reno 38 yards, Fennec 43 yards. Both of them started really hot, and then just starting throwing picks. Just out of nowhere apparently, and it just didn't stop for a good 2 minutes. 3 receivers that time. Reno to throw. Reno goes deep, and the pass is picked again.
What's going on?
Rain Rie with perfect coverage, and just not a good decision.
Not a good decision, but yeah, look at this coverage as well.
Yeah.
Rain Rie really closed on that coverage in an instant, and I guess Johnny Reno just set his sights on his man who was open for a split second, and that window closed in a split second as Rainier shows up for the interception. And back on the field goes Alamo City. Back and forth we go.
You know, kick coverage is not something you see very often, and I will explain what's kick coverage in just a minute. This pass is going to be caught for a gain of 5 yards. So kick coverage, essentially, the corner stays shallow on the flat, and the safety kicks to the outside. So he goes wide as he can. Not something that you see very often, but it can deceive the quarterback, and it deceived Johnny Reno that time.
Yeah, absolutely spectacular defensive play.
2nd down and 5. Fennec to throw the pass, incomplete.
Goodness.
That's a really good job by Fennec and a better job by the linebacker making the play.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Fennec able to scramble a bit, make himself some room, and the quarterback just hits a player right here. I want to see the replay. Oh, okay, so ball was in the player's hands, but it was just jarred loose by the linebacker, and yeah, defensive play right there. 3rd and 5. I think Alamo City is just looking to not turn the ball over, as this game has been already full of interceptions.
3 wide receivers this time. Fennec to throw. Fennec deep. The pass intercepted with one hand.
How?
And we have our 4th pick of tonight's ball game. So I'm looking at the bingo sheet. One of them is 5 total interceptions. We may have that before halftime.
I might have been a little too conservative with that
Oh,
one.
it's the 5th pick already.
Oh, you're right. It is the 5th pick.
Oh my God.
3 by Reno. Is it the 5th pick? Let me double check. According to our statistician.
I think it is. Our statistician, Zach Holdorf, is all over it. So I'm going to trust him. He's smarter than I am. This pass is going to go to the outside. Colin Hart, it's smart decision going just to your running back, bro. Like, don't go downfield anymore.
Yeah. I mean, Colin Hart, solid so far as well. In the evening. 6 carries, 16 yards. A little bit under the 3 yard per carry for like a standard solid rushing game. His reception game, 3 receptions, 27 yards. So the few times he has touched the ball, has had solid production.
Offset single back again. It's going to be another throw to Colin Hart. This one goes nowhere, maybe half a yard on the play, as the DBs continue to make sensational plays in this game. Wow. We're still 3-0 here, but it's been an exciting 3-0. If you just joined us, we have more interceptions than points. And
it's true.
I mean, it's just been a crazy defensive game. Pump fake. The pass deep is caught and getting out of bounds. Maybe could have broken a tackle from Albert Begin, but what a sweet pump fake by Reno on that one.
Yeah, just froze the defenders. Enough room for his receiver to run wide open. And yeah, actually solid tackle right there. That tackle could have been broken, to your point, but all he needed was a slight push him out of bounds, and out of bounds he went and stops the run right there. To your point, otherwise that would have been for a touchdown. Crazy play.
1st down and 10. Ball at the 46. Handoff goes to Colin Hart. Gets 2 on the play. The one-on-one tackling has been pretty sensational here in the first half. 2nd and 8 coming up.
Both teams so far in the evening, 23 plays for Alamo City, 22 plays by Minnesota. Really twinning each other. Total yards, though, Minnesota now eclipsing Alamo City, 94 yards to 81.
Swing it out to Colin Hart. Breaks a tackle. One of the few broken tackles we've seen in this first half. 6-yard pickup. Gets it to the 38. 3rd and 2 for Minnesota. Cannot say they're in field goal range, so they really do need to move the chains to have a hope of scoring points in this drive. Offset single back. We may see another stretch. That's exactly what it is. Hard, doesn't get the space. Gets tackled for only a 1-yard gain. Normally when you run on 3rd down, you are going to go for it on 4th. I think Minnesota's going to keep the offense on the field.
And I wouldn't fault them for that. It was an unfortunately very good play by Stephen Fellows to get the huge tackle there. 4th and 1, I think Minnesota is smelling the first down.
I say go for it, man. You're at home. Ball at the 37. You're in no man's land, but it looks like Johnny Reno is barking at the line. To his credit, I mean, we've seen a couple of offsides in the game, but that one is not going to work. Now, do you try it from about 54? Or do you... It's an interesting one.
Yeah. Like, even if you bunt it here, the special teams has to do a spectacular job to avoid putting it into the end zone and having it result in a touchback. If it's a touchback, that's just a 17-yard punt net.
Yeah.
So, gotta be good here.
Yeah. Now, if you can pin him inside the 5, then, you know, I understand. Your defense has been awesome so far. This ball bounces at the 11, bounces at the 4, and they do pin him inside the 5. So, all in all, really cannot fault Minnesota for that decision then. 5:22 left here in the first half. Alamo City 3, Minnesota nothing. Ramos Lynn and Mark Lopez here in the commentating booth. 4 wide receivers on the formation. I would like to see a handoff of the outside from Brad Jones here. We're not going to see that. It's a quick throw. Good play either way. Just get rid of the ball quickly as Fennec got really, you know, crushed. I mean, he was only in the pocket with the ball for like half a second and he still got crushed. 9-yard gain.
Yeah, very quick time to let the ball go. That's also credit to him, though, because if he didn't let the ball go, that looked like a safety.
Flickbacks, Fennec passes is incomplete. Wow. What a job by Axel Raven. Well, actually, it's called the rule of catch, even though the ball kind of popped at the end. Gonna be interesting to see if we can get a replay or challenge here. Maybe not.
Interesting. Yeah, I thought that was an incomplete.
Weird play.
Weird play, weird result. But that was another case of pressure coming on to Ace Fennec and that pass looking wobbly.
Jones takes it to the outside, and the linebacker takes him to the ground, which has been really in run plays here for in the second quarter of play has been kind of the norm. Brad Jones 10 carries, 25 yards, so that's 2.5 per rush. Colin Hart only 2.4 yards per rush. 3-3 defense for Minnesota. 3 wide receivers for Alamo City. Turning the corner is Roenick for a first down to the 31. And this is probably the best drive we've seen since midway through the first quarter.
Ziki Roenick with the incredible footsteps right there, not allowing his momentum to take him over to the outside. Basically spins on a dime as he gets the ball. Right there, momentum sideways becomes 0, momentum forward becomes 100 and gets a first down.
Great job by the receiver. The total yards, both teams a little bit over 100. I mean, it's been kind of a mirror match so far in this game in a few regards. This time Brad Jones gets it to the outside with more success. Gain of 9.5, second and inches upcoming.
That's the kind of result that Alamo City has been expecting with their game plan, is that BJ Loveless running to the edge, have some of your edge blockers set for him. You have your receivers block downfield, blocking the second level. He gets 9 yards and maybe more, and that's what he got here.
Offset single back, another offsides. Brad Jones will get about 5, so you can take the yards. If you want to give your running back a little bit more stats.
Neutral zone infraction, number 99, defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
I guess it was a 4.5-yard rush. Does the
Perhaps.
Alamo City Artillery accept the penalty? They do get the 5 free yards. So very undisciplined for Minnesota's D line so far. I mean, 3 offsides penalties at home.
Yeah, all in the first half too. So coming out of their locker room, something must have happened, or a little bit of jitters, play of jitters, perhaps.
Look bottom of your screen for a quick out here. No, actually, it's top of the screen, the quick out. Goose Fennec gets the catch, and he gets put down after a gain of 7 yards. But again, Alamo City with a rhythm here on offense. More cohesive drive being put together. So far, this drive has spanned 43 yards. So really doing some nice work. Even if they have to punt, this is a pretty successful drive. Just being able to turn the, just flip the field. Fennec, the pass is going to be caught again. Greg Soto picks up a first down to the 41. And that's how we will reach the 2-minute warning. With the score, Alamo City 3, Minnesota nothing. Yes, you're watching football, not baseball, everybody. The Simulation Football League presented by 8 PM Music will be right back in just a minute. Back here in Minnesota. 3-0. Alamo City. 4 wide receivers and an offset single back. Handoff goes to Brad Jones. Finds some space. Jones to the 35. Gain of 6 yards. 2nd and 4 upcoming.
And one of the things Minnesota Legend is doing really well against the rushing game is to keep that middle section clogged up. Because as Brad Jones breaks through the first level, breaks through the line of scrimmage, lots of defenders in the middle to prevent him from getting plenty of yards, and Minnesota's doing well on that department.
From the split backs, the pass goes to the outside, caught to Soto again for another move of the chains. Fennec up to 98 yards and 16 pass attempts, 11 completions. 1 minute and 19 seconds left here in the second quarter. I like what Alamo City's doing here. Just try to score before the end of the half, of course, not give Minnesota a lot of time. Bunch. Now we may see the quick out from the bottom of the screen. Actually, still top of the screen. The tight end did run a quick out, but actually they went with Ziggy Roenick. 6 yards. Now he goes out of bounds with 103.
Yeah, good play calling still overall. Good time management. Keep the clock frozen in place. 103. You got your 3 timeouts. And I think they're even they're slotted, or they're poised to make it so they have the ball potentially as the clock ends for the first half.
2nd down and 4. Ball at the 20. Handoff to the fullback. And Juicy gets the first down. Let's see what other wrinkle they have out of this formation. And Juicy gets the handoff again. Tackle for no gain. This could be trouble for Alamo City.
Yeah.
Handoff and Juicy. Now he gets some space. 6 yards to the 10-yard line. 3rd down and 4. All in all, not terrible. I mean, it's still a 3rd and manageable with 2 timeouts and at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, 3rd and 4, definitely manageable. And Juicy, surprising back-to-back play calls for him. I mean, I guess that's just because they were doing a no-huddle offense. But you had Brad Jones in the backfield as well. Surprised he didn't switch to a handoff to Brad Jones. But still, 3rd and 4.
Look for a crossing route here. Man-to-man between the corners.
Is.
They go with a crossing, and it's wide open for a touchdown. Ziggy Roenick.
Wonderful play. That crossing route, as you called, on the money right there. And Roenick picks up the first touchdown of the game. Ladies and gentlemen, this first half is almost over. And you just saw the first touchdown. We are now up 9-0 as Alamo is setting themselves up to be 10-0. And Ace Fennec, what a drive engineered by him at the end of the first half. We'll drive summary of this drive. 15 plays, 96 yards all the way from their 4-yard line. 66 passing yards and capped off by that touchdown. Incredible stuff, Ramos.
Yeah, very great work by Alamo City as they move the ball 96 yards on that drive. and we are 10-0 visiting team. I'm seeing in the chat, big upset alert and everything. Yeah, I mean, when you look at the seedings, number 12 against number 5, sure. But man, Alamo City was able to manage a 7-5 record in the South Division and make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I know how tough that is. Like that's not easy, and it's just one game difference in the regular season. Alamo City is a team that's been in the championship game relatively, recently, has to be said. It was just a couple seasons back, maybe 3 seasons back. I mean, it's a successful franchise, and still a half left to go.
Yeah, record is just a record. That's just a regular season thing. Playoffs is a different beast. It's a fault to say that this might be an upset.
Colin Hart goes backwards, a 4-yard loss, and I think Minnesota will call the dogs off. I mean, it's been a rough first half before the Minnesota offense. Johnny Reno, 86 yards. Colin Hart, Komazak, both combined are under 15 yards of rushing. So all in all, just about 100 total yards on offense here for Minnesota. They may do one more play before the end of the half. They do. It's just a swing. Hard gets 3 on the play. And that's how we go to the half. Alamo City 10, Minnesota 0. Want to hear your quick thoughts on the first half. Mark, very different.
Yeah, very different indeed. We just came from the previous game, Game 1, Vancouver versus Indianapolis, where the first half was wild with a lot of scoring, and then the second half that was a little more messy than the first half. This seems like a complete flip of the script, where the first half is messy all around. We started off with back-to-back interceptions after a field goal drive by Alamo, and I think the reason why Alamo is up 10-0, Ramos, I'm gonna have to chalk it up to errors on the side of Minnesota. 3 penalties in the first half, 3 turnovers in the first half, as well as Johnny Reno throws 3 interceptions. Some unconverted third downs leading to a punt, and it seems like Minnesota, who is boasting a solid offense throughout the season, they were boasting 400 yards per game, and in this game so far in the first half, not looking good in terms of the total yards department. They only have a total of 100 yards.
Yeah, it's been rough. I'll begin with 2 INTs. Set up Alamo City in really decent field position both times. That drive by Alamo City to finish pretty much the drive, effectively finish the half rather. The highlight of the game, 96 yards, culminating with a touchdown, which is the most important thing, the only touchdown of tonight's ball game. Minnesota, a team that is, that identifies themselves more for having a great defense rather than a great offense. I mean, don't get me wrong, the offense is very capable. I mean, they have scored 26.4 points per game. That's certainly nothing to be ashamed of. But so far, a big goose egg on the board. What do you think they have to do to get rolling and score some points?
I mean, someone in the locker room's gotta tell them to, freshen up, maybe stop those jitters. It feels like one can attribute the mistakes to some playoff jitters. It's their second season as a franchise, so maybe there's that as a factor. I think they have it in them to score 100%. It's been mistakes that Alamo City that has basically taken opportunities of, and Minnesota down 10-0, still manageable. It's a brand new half. They got to play a brand new game potentially.
We'll get the ball to start this half. Decent return from Banks this time. He again returns it from inside the end zone, but this time gets it to the 22-yard line. Mark Lopez and Ramos Lin here in the broadcast booth. Minnesota coming off a loss against Sioux Falls, 30-10. Prior to that, they were in a 2-game winning streak against Louisiana and Jacksonville. For Alamo City, they're riding a 2-game win streak against Houston and Canton. They're up 10-0. Reno to pass. Caught. Wow, what a throw.
Yeah.
Great throw. Buchanan Simons gets that one for a first.
Great throw. Great catch in duress as well. Buchanan Simons picks that ball off from the air, despite 3 members in white uniforms on top of it.
Split backs formation with 2 tight ends. 4-3 defense for Alamo City. As they shift, leaving the A gap wide open. This pass goes to the flat and nothing doing there. Actually, they are not going to even call forward progress. That's a tough break for Minnesota. Loss of 2.
Yeah, unfortunate. Momentum. That was to number 85, Christian Bachigalupi, with his momentum bringing him backwards, unfortunately, for that loss.
Dime defense to counter. 4 receivers and a tight end. Reno to throw. Reno goes short. The pass caught. Gain of about 7 on that one. Make it a manageable 3rd down and 5 as Quagmam gets another grab.
Yeah. Solid grab from Quagmam. Cuts that 2nd and long into a 3rd and 5. That was for 7 yards. Our statisticians, Zach Holdorf, doing well on stats right now.
The throw gets it to Buchanan Simons for a 1st down. Moving the chains is Minnesota. Really strong start of this first half for the legend. Alamo City during the season, they did not lose a game against a team with a losing record. Every loss they had was against a team that at least had a 500 record. Their most impressive and important wins of the season. Fort Worth in week 2, then Carolina in week 6, and Houston last week as they won 19-10. Again, 4 wide receivers and a tight end in this gun straight. Pass middle is almost picked off by Jeff Piccoli. 2nd and 10 coming up.
Yep, 2nd and 10. Defense tightening up for this Alamo City. I mean, the defense for Alamo City, I'm saying tightening up. They have been pretty tight already in the first half, and they're just carrying that momentum over, as this is the first incompletion by Johnny Reno in the 2nd half.
Bunch formation for Minnesota. On 2nd and 10. Reno to throw. Reno swings it out to Colin Hart, and Hart gets put down after a gain of only 2 yards. 3rd down and 8 coming up. The SFL convention is coming to Cincinnati, Ohio, July 28th through the 30th for season 21 kickoff weekend. For room reservation details and the weekend schedule, see the hashtag convention alerts channel in the SFL Discord server. Rooms are going fast and some have already sold out. So reserve your special group rate today. We will see you there as this pass is caught and ruled a 1st down to Banks. What do you think?
Yeah.
I think he was short.
I think he was short too, but we'll see. I wonder if this is challenged. Oh, it is challenged, and spot on the bingo sheet is up for grabs as coach challenge successful is going to be up there. We'll see. I think it was short too, Ramos. It looked very close though.
To me, it does look short. The catch is made right there. The ball is on his left hand. Right there, maybe.
What an angle that was.
That's a good angle. That's a good angle. Now I may change my mind.
After review, the call on the field is overturned.
Maybe not.
The visiting team.
The ruling on the field is overturned. Now, the yellow line is not official. It's something that is always said. It's a cliche in football, but yellow line is not official. 4th and inches, and you have to keep the offense on the field. I will give it to Chris Komisak, actually. Here. Defense shifts. It's a 4-3 defense. Give it to the halfback. 1st down. Big play for Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, it was just for inches too. So they were confident they could make it. I mean, that pass alone showed that they felt that they made it. And so they did. They made it.
3 wide receivers and a tight end this time. Look for slants. Yep, slants, there it is. The pass is caught for a first. Great Rob reaching to his knees. Jason France makes it happen.
Look at that. Johnny Reno already up to 131 yards suddenly, despite his first half of tragedies with 3 interceptions in the first half. Suddenly, very solid drive from him. Going back to his usual self, I guess. The usual amazing Johnny Reno, who was pretty solid in the season. I think in the season, I believe 5th fewest turnovers from him. So those 3 interceptions, he's looking to erase those from his memory.
Shift on the defense. That's an interesting twist right there. Johnny Reno passed the ball middle. It's caught by France one more time. A 7-yard gain to make it a 2nd down and 3. Best drive of the game so far for Minnesota's offense, easily. Now they have to come away with points. 9 plays, 46 yards. They have to capitalize with points. Even 3 is better than nothing.
Absolutely.
Well, personnel this time. Hart offset to the right. To throw again goes Johnny Reno. Reno to the outside. What a great throw as Buchanan Simons gets the catch and goes to the 11-yard line. Great job by Johnny Reno waiting for his receiver to break open. First down.
Reno has been incredible in this drive, throwing 9 for 10 in this drive. Very incredible, 66 passing yards already this half alone in this specific drive, and he's willing his team for a score. They are now in the red zone inside the 11-yard line, and now the playbook's open.
First down and 10. 3 wide receivers again from the shotgun. Interesting move going from the shotgun in this scenario. This pass is incomplete. And that's pretty much why I was saying that. 2nd down and 10 coming up. I will go back to the 2 tight end set here on 2nd and 10, something like that. Run the ball, make it a 3rd and more manageable.
Yeah, definitely a good plan.
Yeah, also keep Alamo City guessing. And, Colin Hart has fresh legs, I think, here in the 2nd half. There's the 2 tight ends. There's Colin Hart. Well, that didn't work either. Never mind. A loss of 1 yard. Outstanding defense for Alamo City as Colin Hart is having a really tough time on his yards per carry.
That was Yogi Barr, defensive end, 6'6", 285 pounds with the tackle for loss. Well, it's actually, a loss of 1 yard. He's 6th in the season with 21 tackles for losses. Insane defensive player.
Watch out if you do slants here. They actually don't. The pass goes to the end zone and it's incomplete. Johnny McGuire with great coverage. And Minnesota, well, I mean, it's still a successful drive. You can come away with points. But great job by Alamo City making a stop at the end.
I mean, they also had a chance for an interception as that deflection bounced back to one of his teammates right there. Off screen. Could have been picked off too. And Minnesota will just take the field goal. As you said, though, 3 points, better than nothing the way this game has been going. And with the defense, with plenty of room to improve from their first half performance, I think, that's their goal. Just get some points. Let's get us started on the right track. And then
from 29 yards out, the field goal is up and good, and Minnesota finally breaks the goose egg. 10-3, Alamo City. I was kind of joking when I said, are we going to have a 10-7 game? But, I mean, hey, still a quarter and a half to go. Minnesota showing some real life on offense on that last drive. Who knows?
That 5-minute drive as well. Alamo City's 2 scoring drives, each were 4.5 minutes at least.
It's a good move by Ziggy Rona getting it to the 25-yard line. Liking the game so far? Smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The SFL produces over 400 events a year. There's no one else that gives you more football. Don't miss a minute of SFL or SFL-M action and help the channel grow through your support. Thank you for helping the SFL reach 10 years of operation through your viewership. Four wide receivers again. To throw middle, the pass is caught and getting crushed by the linebacker. BJ Loveless is the slot receiver, Crockett. And, Alamo City right now, just string a few first downs together, just try to, retake the pace of the game, retake the control of the game. For the most part, they've had the momentum of the game. And Minnesota's, climbing up just a little bit, so. To throw again, Fennec nowhere to throw to and goes down hard.
Yeah. Still, Fennec, though, stayed upright for a long time, evading many potential defenders. Only a loss of 1 yard despite stepping back for at least 3 steps. Sets his team up for 3rd and 6.
Time for a deep throw. Look, Deuce Fennec, top of your screen. No, maybe not. Following the football, and Alamo City's got it. Alamo City pounces on it. Great job on defense by Minnesota, confusing on the secondary, and then the defensive line gets to him. Minnesota will get the ball back.
Yeah. Fumble. Wow. And forces a punt. Looking too deep, perhaps, and did not see the front line come in. What a play by Minnesota.
This return by Banks goes to the 44-yard line. That's where they will have a first down. So really solid start, field position for the legend. Johnny Reno finally coming into his zone. Reno now 19 of 27. For a little bit of a 150-yard sponge. And a single receiver top of your screen. They go with him. Banks gets the catch. A gain of 8 yards. 2nd and 2 coming up. Now Johnny Reno's numbers, even though he doesn't have a touchdown, he has 1 more pick. He looks a little bit better than Fennec now.
Yeah, that's the second half, or the halftime break. Pep talk by your coach is going to do wonders if you give him the right speech.
Offset single back again, Twins bottom of your screen. They go with the Twins. They go with Buchanan Simons. To the 38-yard line, another first down, legend.
Alamo City very physical with the tackle still. Hit by one player, supporting player makes the tackle even harsher.
Another bunch set. I like Minnesota is sticking now with the things that are working. They go in the bunch set, single back. To throw, go in middle, and the pass is going to be incomplete. Hit as he throws. Good decision making, but better play by the defensive lineman getting in there. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, he did have his one wide receiver open in the middle. That was a great defensive play by Alamo City. Really getting to Johnny Reno several times this game. And unfortunately, we're not tracking quarterback hits, but it almost feels like at least 3 already has transpired in this game.
3 wide receivers set this time with 2 backs in the backfield. To throw, Reno swings it out to the outside. Hard is wide open. Hard makes a spin move successful. Makes another one and gets a first down to the 28.
Colin Hart, he's revving up his engine. Ooh, nice spin move, double spin move. Close for a first down, and Colin Hart, good play.
Smart of Minnesota right now. They're making Alamo City cover the length of the field. They're going outside quite a fair bit here in the second half. Just cover outside the numbers. Really does a good job of gassing a defense. They try one more time, and this time it's picked up by Gunny McGuire. He can go to the 50, to the 45, the 40, the 30, the 25, and he's going to be stopped at the 23. But what a beautiful read by Gunny McGuire with the interception, and an absolute killer for Minnesota.
Wow, Mickey Gunny McGuire with a near pick 6, had 2 pass deflections in the game. Now his interception in this one, and Oh, that breaks the hearts of Minnesota fans as their team is doing so well in this drive. And that also sets up Alamo City for a great position in Minnesota's 23-yard line.
Wow, what a change of events right here in this game. Minnesota looking to get more points here in the third quarter. Alamo City now really close to the red zone. Brad Jones will get him into the red zone and more. Jones is in for a touchdown.
Brad Jones has woken up. The dragon, the sleeping dragon, has been woken from his slumber. 2.5 yards per carry. How about 23 yards in a single carry for a touchdown? As Brad Jones brings a second touchdown for Alamo City, bumps up the lead to 13, pending one extra point for a 14-point lead. And this is the Brad Jones we were waiting for, Ramos. The breakaway, running away, burst of speed for a touchdown.
Nice job by Alamo City calling the sweep play. Not something that you see often in the SFL. You know, you see a lot of stretches. You see sometimes toss plays thrown like, every now and again. Even power plays, sweeps. You don't see many, and that one was done beautifully for 7 points. 17-3, Alamo City over Minnesota, who's still trying to find answers on offense.
Yep. Brad Jones, we were talking about how Brad Jones' impact to this Alamo City team has been sort of decisive for them. Good Brad Jones performance has led to wins. Bad Brad Jones performance has led to 5 losses and 1 win this season.
The return goes to the 22-yard line. SFL Playoffs Wildcard Weekend continues tomorrow on the SFL YouTube channel with a pair of games starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. First, the London Knights welcome the Las Vegas Fury with Tim Hackett and Cam Duty on the call. In the nightcap, Carolina hosts its first playoff game in franchise history when Tulsa comes to town with Chad Rowland and Josh Circle on the call. Don't miss a moment tomorrow night. Single back formation again. Reno will throw, pass middle. That one is caught to Bacigalupi for a gain of about 12 and a first down.
Bacigalupi's second catch, second target, now with 10 yards. We see Johnny Reno really loving to spread the ball. Every player on his receiving core with 2 or more targets and 2 or more receptions as well.
First down and 10 at the 34-yard line. 12 personnel this time, a safety creeping down low. Still 4-3 defense. To throw, Reno passes it to the outside. Hard will run out of bounds for a 4-yard loss.
Colin Hart needs to take some dance lessons, I think. A little. This tippy tappy toes, unfortunate, stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, not the best execution of that play right there. Second down and 14 yards to go. Minute and 14 left here in the third quarter. 17-3 Alamo City over Minnesota. 4 wide receivers and a tight end. Reno to throw. Reno goes deep and the pass is picked off again. Picked again and being returned to the 49. And this is really, really ugly for Johnny Reno and company.
Yeah, ugly, absolutely. I mean, talking about how during halftime break, mistakes plagued them in the first half. How about 2 more interceptions in the second half?
Ooh. Johnny Reno, 5 INTs today. 3 wide receivers for Alamo City. Brad Jones single back. To throw, Fennec goes to the outside. Deuce gets it. Able to turn the corner for a gain of 9 yards. Up to the 39.
In Alamo at this point, they just need to hand the ball off to Brad Jones. Almost every play, just beat the clock. Your 2 scores up and really choke this game out of Minnesota.
12 personnel for Alamo City. Handoff to Jones. Nowhere to go. There, man. That's one of the toughest plays to make as a linebacker. You know, just running sidelines, sideline to sideline, running east to west, and making a tackle behind the line of scrimmage, one-on-one in the open field. That's not easy to do.
Yeah.
Let's see if they try it again. Actually, bottom of the screen now. Yeah, they're just gonna flip it and try it again, and Jones gets it done.
Yeah, to your point, tough to do it individually as a linebacker, which makes it the more impressive that Minnesota has been consistently doing against Brad Jones. I mean, sure,
Yeah.
we saw them give up a touchdown, but they've been on point all night.
One more quarter to go. Artillery 17, Legend 3. You're watching the Simulation Football League, presented by APM Music on YouTube. APM Music is on Rival Music to bring your stories to life, inspiring every production with the world's most robust and constantly refreshed music collection, state-of-the-art technology, and world-class customer service. APM Music is the official soundtrack of the Simulation Football League. To explore their library and to find the perfect tracks for your projects, visit apmmusic.com. Greg Soto gets it to the 35-yard line, a gain of 3 yards. Gets it also into field goal range. A field goal for Alamo City. I mean, again, the whole fourth quarter still to go, but a field goal for Alamo City has to feel like really, really, really hard to reach for Minnesota. What do you think?
No, I agree. Pretty much damn near impossible when you go down 3 scores with 1 quarter to go.
Brad Jones finds the space in between the offensive line. 3rd down and 1 coming up at the 30-yard line.
That play by Brad Jones actually puts him up to field goal range to Ramos. So that field goal that you were talking about is already on the table.
Offset I formation. And another offsides as Brad Jones gets it to the outside, breaks a tackle, and it doesn't even matter. Gets it to the 20. Alamo City will decline that penalty, and Minnesota's really unraveling right now.
A little too twitchy there as the Minnesota defense gets their 4th penalty of the game. I mean, it's harsh really calling the defense undisciplined, but you think about how this team, they're in the playoffs, so to call it discipline is one thing, to call it jitters is another. Whatever is happening to them, it's unfortunate that it's resulted in the 4 penalties that they've garnered.
I mean, you do it early in the game once, I get it. Jitters, nerves, I get it. To do it again and again and again and again into the fourth quarter is it's rough.
For sure.
3 wide receivers. Fennec will throw, pass to the outside, caught. Soto, again, ruled the catch. And Max Knight is down with an injury. I mean, it's just getting from bad to worse to absolutely downright horrible.
Yep, Minnesota, nobody's having... Ooh. What?
Ooh. That's a... Look. That's a 300 and something pound dude.
Yeah.
And he just got airborne with a massive hit to the knee. I hope he's okay. That's a 350-pound dude flying. And I mean flying. Fennec will throw. The pass is picked off. Actually, Raven has it.
That's what you need. That's a start. I mean, it's still a steep mountain to climb. You stopped the field goal taken out of the hands of Alamo City. And now Minnesota, we're saying everything's bad going to Minnesota. But, they just got to grab a hold of their destiny, and that's the start.
9th interception of the game combined for both teams. Wow. Gun formation from the pro set. Man-to-man coverage for Alamo City. The pass goes to the tight end. Great decision. Jason Franz puts it to the 39-yard line. Johnny Reno's up to 2:05 in tonight's ball game. Minnesota really needs to score a touchdown on this drive. If not, that's pretty much the end of this.
Yeah, absolutely. 14 points, so 2 touchdowns needed. Jason Franz looking to be the X factor for Johnny Reno. 5 targets, his 2nd most targeted player tied with Jay Taylor, who also has 5 targets, but Jason France with 36 yards, picking up first downs for Minnesota.
Handoff goes to Colin Hart, and he goes backwards, a loss of 1 yard. Kudos, really, again, to the defensive line of Alamo City. Colin Hart, just not his night. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, look at that, 1.2 yards per carry. Does have the 45 yards reception. Silver lining there, but the 1.2 yards per carry, that's rough.
Looks like man-on-man coverage here. Looks like corners. Look for the crossing routes. Somebody going to the outside. Somebody going to the outside. The pass is caught. Absolutely getting mossed. Is Jeff Spicoli, I think. I didn't. Look, you know what? I'm not even going to mention a name. I'm not going to even embarrass him more. Jay Taylor goes up and makes a sensational catch.
Oh my goodness. Athleticism all on display by Jay Taylor. And wow.
Wow, that's one of the most impressive catches I've seen this season, man. One-handed, having to go up. This tackle made for a loss of 2 yards. Great play by the linebacker. Going up, just having to turn your body, man. It's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
It really is as good as it gets.
He's a man of focus and sheer absolute will. He makes a huge play.
2nd down and 12 yards to go with the ball at the 46. Reno to throw, the pass knocked away, and Gunny McGuire almost had it. Another interception and a very similar coverage play.
Yeah.
3rd and 12 coming up.
Yeah, he was it looked like a pat down. I think he did it. Well, it's likely he expected the ball coming his way, but I guess that could easily have been a pick as well, had it been a better catch.
5 wide receivers this time. Reno to throw. Reno doesn't have any time as this ball goes to the ground incomplete. 7:51. I will punt it because it's 4th and 12.
Right. Yeah, a
That
punch
hurts.
here. They've punted them to inside their 5, where they unfortunately let them go end to end for a 96-yard drive. I think they want to punt them still inside the 5, pin them there, but not allow that travesty of a defensive drive.
This punt by Minnesota looks like a decent one as well. Bouncing at the 8, at the 1, and sadly goes into the end zone for a touchback. I mean, if that was a 4th and 2, 4th and 3, you absolutely go for it. 4th and 12, you just have to play the percentages, and you do have to punt it. So I'm not going to kill them for that. That's a rough break, though. 7:42 left here in the 4th quarter. Alamo City with a chance of bleeding this clock out. And any points really put this game out of reach, in my view. And to the outside goes Brad Jones. Gain of 6 yards. Brad Jones up to 83 yards. Max Knight diagnosed with a poke in the eye. I mean, if it was a poke in the eye, that's one of like 17 different things that happened to him. Because he flew like, that's a 350-pound guy. So he flew in the air like probably like 4 feet.
Yeah.
He took a shot to the knee and he fell on his like arm and shoulder.
And all he got was a poke in the eye.
And there you go, 6-yard gain, but maybe even a 7-yard gain here for Brad Jones to the 31-yard line. Another first down for Alamo City.
Interesting statistic from our stats team. Despite being down 17-3, it's still Minnesota with more total offensive yards. Now that with the yards from this Alamo drive, they actually tied in total offensive yards. But prior to that, Minnesota leading the offensive yards. Those turnovers really hurt them.
Brad Jones goes backwards, a loss of 2 yards. And I mean, who knows, man? Maybe Max Knight has eyes on his knees. I don't know, man.
Well,
I think he even wears a visor. What the hell is going on?
Well, one thing's for sure, he's a sturdy guy. If he fell on his knee or his arm or whatever after going airborne, and all he gets is an eye poke, man, those bones are sturdy.
Another handoff goes for a loss as Minnesota really clamping down on defense. Brad Jones put on his back by Angela Meerkat. Angela Meerkat's second tackle for a loss of the game. Brad Jones still not over 100 yards, and his yards per carry is still a respectable 4 yards per carry, but it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle for Brad Jones in this rushing game. Fennec to throw. Fennec goes deep, and the pass is caught.
Wow.
Greg Soto gets it to the 46-yard line, and that's one nail in the coffin of the legend.
Mr. Third Down Greg Soto, another third down converted from him. Definitely one of Fennec's favorite third down targets because he's all reliable, gets himself open, and when the ball gets to him, those secure hands catch the ball. And look at that, first down in Minnesota territory.
First down, 10 yards to go at the 46-yard line. 3 wide receivers, 2 backs. They have to run the football, don't they? Well, they will get sacked, which is actually better than any incompletion. Max Knight is back!
Oh!
So... I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, it's probably genetics. These guys just regenerate at the speed of light.
Maybe he got a new eye. I don't know, man. Like,
that's probably it.
He got to the sideline. He said, "Hey, Doug. Hey, to the trainer. Hey, just get me a new eye. I'll be good to go, man." This pass goes nowhere. Actually, we rule it a loss of half a yard as Deuce Fennec spun backwards.
Yeah, it's kind of wild that it said Max Knight was out for 2 weeks and then he's back here. I guess proving that he basically just disobeyed doctor's orders to be out 2 weeks in order to come back for a win, potentially.
Third down and 14, ball at midfield. 4 wide receivers. Biggest play of the game on defense for Minnesota. Fennec, sack.
There you go.
Angela Meerkat gets Fennec for a 7-yard loss. And Minnesota will have another chance on offense. They need to hurry now.
Sacks have been a major issue for Alamo City, at least in terms of patterns. Whenever they've had, or whenever in all their losses throughout the season, they averaged over 3 sacks a game, 3.6. In their wins, they average 1.7. So half of the time, or I guess in wins, they average half sacks than they did in losses. So not looking too good in the losses, or sorry, the sack department in this game. It's giving Minnesota a chance. Those sacks have been huge by Knight, by Begin, keeping them in the game even though there's 3 minutes left in this game.
Yeah. And look, a sack on that situation is not the worst thing for Alamo City because it keeps the clock running, and your defense has been all-time good. So that's much better than an incompletion. Even if you lose, 7-8 yards, that's much better than an incompletion. The clock is more important than just 10 yards of field position. The pass goes to the outside, and Colin Hart gets tackled for a loss again.
Another quarterback hit too. How many times?
Another one, yeah. That's the 8th tackle for loss for Alamo City tonight. Reno to throw. Checks it down to Komisak. That's not going to make anything.
Yeah, the blitz was coming too.
Third down and 10. Ball at the 24. Reno to throw. Goes deep. Intercepted.
That's it.
Donnie McGuire returns it to the 30, returns it to the 20. Donnie McGuire puts it into the red zone at the 13-yard line. 6th pick of the game for Johnny Reno. And that's all she wrote, I'm afraid.
And the season ending in a whimper for Minnesota. They do have their 3 timeouts left, but Alamo City, all they have to do really is burn the clock. Have Minnesota use up all their timeouts. First down is probably all they need to ice this game. And fortunately for Minnesota at home, they looking at a 7-3 deficit. and Alamo City just waiting to settle the business.
Only one job to do is give the ball to Brad Jones. He loses 2, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it really doesn't matter if Brad Jones loses 10 yards in this drive. Just make sure you keep the ball on the ground. Make sure you force Minnesota to call the timeouts. And putting a field goal on the board seals this game.
Yes, sir.
This is really no indication of Reno's play or anybody here in Minnesota's offense. They are a tremendous group. And I have nothing but respect for what they've done. I mean, it's very, very hard to come into the league and make the playoffs back-to-back seasons. Like, it's really hard to make the playoffs, period.
In your first
In
2
any
seasons.
season. Brad Jones gets the handoff, not enough for a first. It's hard to make the playoffs in any season. I mean, we had a decent season, Mexico City, 7-5. We missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's hard. Like 7 games wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
go ahead.
Well, with a 2-minute warning and Alamo City looking to ice this game, Ramos, as we had the 2-minute warning, and yeah, looks like they are poised to win. With their win here, it's gonna be number 1 Atlanta. Sorry, they will be visiting number 1 Atlanta next week. Field goal pending here, and this is just a second home loss. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, great tackle by Axel Raven as Minnesota will make the stop. And it's going to be 4th and 1 at the 4. Alamo City does have to kick this field goal.
That's
And,
nice.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that's gonna ice it for them. That's gonna secure only the second home loss in franchise history. I agree with you 100%. This is no indication of Minnesota playing poorly. Great team still. They have solid players, solid pieces all around, and I can't imagine them not putting out another playoff effort next season.
Absolutely. Alamo City puts it between the uprights 10-3. As they look to move on to the next round, the 12th seed in the SFL playoffs will knock out the number 5. Obviously on the road. In the playoffs, if you're a lower seed, you have to go to the higher seed's place. And it's not easy to go into frigid Minnesota and beat the Legend. Not for one bit. I mean, it's one of the better teams at home this year. Matter of fact, they didn't lose a single game at home. And those games, I mean, Louisiana, it's an impressive win. Atlanta is the win. I mean, that's the only loss that Atlanta had. And they demolished the Swarm, too. They beat Indianapolis, who made the playoffs. They beat Sioux Falls, who had a 500 record. I mean, it's packed with really good wins. And Alamo City, to their credit, you know, they went 2-4 on the road this year during the regular season. And they have a statement win here in the playoffs. There's going to be a 9-yard pickup for France getting out of bounds to stop the clock.
And they're looking to face number 1 Atlanta next week. And Alamo City, that's going to be a heck of a challenge for them going up against an incredible team put out by Atlanta, where we have seen them crush teams left and right all season. So Alamo City going to have a long weekend, a long week to think about how they're going to tackle this.
Throwing the ball to Buchanan Simons doesn't work, incomplete. Only the second all-time loss at home for Minnesota. Now, again, only 2 seasons, but only 2 losses at home is pretty remarkable.
Incredible.
Alamo City will go to Atlanta next week to face the Swarm. Very much looking forward to that matchup. I mean, Alamo City, number 12, going against the number 1. Anything can happen in the Simulation Football League, though. 12 personnel, Reno to throw to the outside. Pass caught, getting out of bounds to stop the clock again. Taylor with the catch. I mean, Alamo City, again, they beat Fort Worth, for example, by 18 points at that. It was at home, but still a remarkable win. And even though it was early on the season, I mean they've proven with this win also, of course, against Minnesota, they can beat the top teams in the Simulation Football League. So not by one bit I discount them against the Atlanta Swarm. This is going to be a 5-yard grab going out of bounds again to stop the clock.
Yeah.
Second and 5. Ball at the 41-yard line.
Second down, 5 yards to go. Ball at the 40-yard line. 3 wide receivers, 2 backs in the backfield. Reno to throw. Reno goes deep, and the pass is going to be caught by Banks. Man.
Wow.
2 unbelievable catches by Minnesota players here in the second half.
Yeah. I mean, that's the spark of, their ability. Alamo City just came in this game with incredible preparedness. I mean, you pull off 6 total interceptions against Johnny Reno, who averaged just a little over 2 interceptions per game. So Minnesota, they have the firepower in there. Alamo City was just really good.
Reno to throw, goes deep, and the pass is knocked away from the receiver. That is Richard Stockton, one of the backup DBs, doing some really good work on the outside. He got mossed, for a lack of a better term, on the previous play, but redeeming himself on that one.
He is so backup that his name is all in lowercase. Makes a
Yeah,
great
that's when you know you're a backup. That's when you know you're down in the depth chart.
Down. Even your letters are all down. But makes a defensive play anyway, which is incredible. Minnesota, 1 timeout left, 1.5 minutes to go. Want to put points on the table to make this a more respectable game.
That toss goes to Banks for a gain of 5. Out of bounds again at the 32. And don't leave the broadcast without joining our Discord server. There's so much more to do in the SFL than just being a player. Join to check out content for teams and about the league created by the community. Participate in pick'em games, play SFL fantasy football, and test your skills in the survivor pool. To join our server, visit simulationfl.net and click on the Discord icon on the menu. The SFL community, 2,000 strong. We'll see you there. This pass is going to be incomplete, and we'll bring up a 4th down and 5. Quake Man was the intended receiver.
Quagmam, solid outing, at least in terms of receptions. 2 receptions, actually only 15 yards from Quagmam. Leading receiver Jay Taylor after that one insane catch, 63 total yards from him. Johnny Reno himself has 270 total.
Reno deep, incomplete. Deflected away by another one of the backups, actually. Check that, that's Jukin Rukin Jr., my bad. I mean, technically, like a backup strong safety, he plays in the dime role. But the Alamo City will turn the Minnesota Legend drive on downs. And it's going to be just about 2 or 3 different knees, and that's going to be the end of the ball game, folks. The 7-5 Alamo City Artillery will move on to face against the 11-1 Atlanta Swarm. So they will go down south to the Hive. A roller coaster of a season for Alamo City, and that's something that it's whenever you have a 7-5 season, it's that spells roller coaster, but literally like loss, 2 wins, 2 losses, 2 wins, a loss, a win, a loss, 2 wins, and now the 3rd straight win for the Artillery, hitting their stride right at the proper time, playoff time. 3rd down and 13 coming up. 1 more knee will seal it. Again, kudos to Minnesota. Very exciting to see what's in store for them for the future in the next era of the Simulation Football League. I mean, they already have a win in my book with how that uniform and that stadium looks. I mean, they already 1-0 in my book. That looks crazy. So very, very excited to see what Axel Raven and company do. Next season and beyond. Final thoughts of the game, Mark, also player of the game.
Final thoughts. I mean, it has been Alamo City's defense all evening, dominating the Minnesota offense, despite Minnesota outplaying Alamo City. If you're just comparing numbers of yards, Minnesota with total of almost 30 more yards than Alamo City. Actually, exactly 30 more yards than Alamo City. And despite that, they have 7 turnovers. They have a lot of quarterback hits. They got home on Johnny Reno, and that was the deal breaker. That was Alamo City dominating on the defensive side, and all they needed was just 2 touchdowns. The touchdown by Brad Jones, and then one more earlier on in the game in the first half from Ace Fennick to Hank Troll, and held on. Look, 20-3, 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals, low scoring game, but high impact defense.
Sadly for Minnesota, their lowest output at home in franchise history. Their lowest was against Jacksonville. They scored 16 points this year. Now with only 3. My player of the game, I can go different directions. I'm actually gonna go with. Man, it's tricky. This one is tricky.
Gunny
I'm gonna go.
Solid.
I'm gonna go Gunny.
Yeah, I mean, I'd go with him too. 2 interceptions, 3 pass deflections. He's been all over the field, and definitely a key player for this team. Brad Jones, solid evening as well. 98 yards, almost 100 unofficially, 1 touchdown. And Ace Fennick, a little bit of a quiet showing from the receiving core, but they didn't need to show more since they were given a lot of good positioning by those turnovers.
That catch was still crazy. One of the best plays we've had in season 20, and maybe will go down as the best play of the playoffs. Who knows? I mean, it's obviously very, very young in the playoffs. We're still in the wild card round. That's one of Gunny McGuire's interceptions that went all the way to the 14-yard line.
Yeah.
Putting the game out of reach. With this field goal that made it 20-3, and that's our final score in tonight's ball game. Want to give again the biggest shout outs of the night going to Caleb and Zach on the stats truck. Thanks to Cameron Irvine for pushing the buttons, and I really want to take just 3 seconds here. Thank you to him, and thank you to everybody here in the SFL for having me broadcasting games through this era of simulation football, and I cannot wait for what's next. Brad Jones does get your player of the game nomination, 24 attempts, 92 yards, and a touchdown. Also had a few grabs. For Mark Lopez, I was Ramos Lin. See you all next season. With me in the broadcast booth at least. I'll see you all in the chats for the rest of the playoffs. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night.